Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another lesson. In today's lesson, we are going to look at part 5 of our Green Fundamentals lesson. So we are going to look at helpful words and phrases in Spanish. All right, without further ado, let's dive right into it. All right, so the first phrase that I think is helpful to learn in today's lesson is the phrase
¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está?
which means where is. So this phrase can, for example, be helpful if you want to say where is the bathroom, for example, which is ¿Dónde está el baño?
¿Dónde está el baño? ¿Dónde está el baño?
Where is the bedroom? So ¿Dónde está? Where is? Very helpful phrase in Spanish. All right, so then the next phrase of today's lesson is
¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta?
which means how much does it cost? ¿Cuánto? How much? Cuesta? It cost. So how much does it cost? And if you want to be a bit more specific, you can also say, for example, ¿Cuánto cuesta la camiseta?
¿Cuánto cuesta la camiseta? ¿Cuánto cuesta la camiseta?
How much does the shirt cost? All right, then the next phrase we will learn in today's lesson is
¿Me puedes ayudar? ¿Me puedes ayudar?
which means can you help me? So me, which means to me or me, puedes, as we learned, is you can, and ayudar, as we also saw in our previous verb lesson, I think, was to help. So to me, can you help? So can you help me? This might be a helpful phrase if you want to ask for help from someone else.
¿Me puedes ayudar?
All right, then the fourth phrase of today's lesson is
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa?
one of my favorite phrases in Spanish, which means what is going on. So what's going on? ¿Qué pasa? And you can also, in a way, use this as a greeting. So you might hear some people say like, hola, ¿qué pasa? Which means like, hey, how's it going? Or what's going on? So, ¿qué pasa? What's going on? All right, then the next word, which is also actually one of my favorite words in Spanish, is salud.
Salud. Salud.
Which literally translated means health. So salud is health. But when we say salud, we actually cheer to something. So for example, if you hold your glass and you say salud, then you say cheers. Or if someone sneezes, you can also say salud, which means health, or it's a way of saying bless you. So good health, pretty much. So salud. Cheers, bless you, or health. All right, the next word that we will learn in today's Green Fundamentals lesson is todo, which means all or everything.
Todo. Todo.
And of course, if we learn all or everything, then we also need to learn nothing or none, which is nada.
Nada. Nada.
Todo and nada. All, everything, nothing or none. Todo, nada. All right, the next word that we will learn is
Pero. Pero.
and this is a very useful connector word that you can use to bind two sentences together. So for example, I need to eat, but I'm not hungry.
Necesito comer, pero no tengo hambre. Necesito comer, pero no tengo hambre.
You will hear this word being used a lot, so it's very important to learn this word. Or at least I recommend you to learn this word. You can do whatever you want, of course. All right, so then the next word that we will learn in today's lesson is
Tan. Tan.
which means so. So for example, this book is so interesting.
Este libro es tan interesante. Este libro es tan interesante.
Tan, so. And then we can actually use that stem, so tan, and we can add to at the end. So now we say tanto, which means so much. So much, tanto.
Tanto. Tanto.
So for example, tengo tanto trabajo. I have so much work.
Tengo tanto trabajo. Tengo tanto trabajo. Tanto. Tan.
All right, let's move on to some more words and phrases. So the next phrase is
Creo que sí. Creo que sí.
creo is I think or I believe. Que sí, that yes. So I believe that yes, which in English we would say I believe so or I think so. And you can add this if you hear someone say something like a statement and they are asking you something and you want to say, yeah, I believe so, or I think so, then you can say, sí, creo que sí, I think so, or I believe so. Or actually, of course, if you don't believe so or you don't think so, then you can change the sí with no. So, creo que no, which means I don't think so or I don't believe so.
Creo que no. Creo que no.
And what's very important to note here is that que, the word que, is without any tildes or accents. So, creo que sí, creo que no. All right, let's move on to the next word. The next word is aquí.
Aquí. Aquí.
Which in Spanish means here. Or, depending on which country you're in, usually in Spain they use the word aquí. In Latin America they usually say another word which is acá, which also means here. So, aquí, acá. They both mean the same thing. It just depends on which country or region you're in. But both are understood by Spanish speakers.
Acá. Acá.
Alright, then the last three words we will learn in today's lesson. The first one is ya. Ya, which means now or already.
Ya. Ya.
So, for example, in a sentence,
Ya estoy listo para salir. Ya estoy listo para salir.
which means now I'm ready to leave or I'm ready to leave now. And usually this word ya is used either at the beginning or at the end of a sentence. So for example, in this sentence, it's used at the beginning, but you could also use it at the end. So estoy listo para salir ya. However, as you might notice, it doesn't sound as good as if you would put it at the beginning. But just for you to know, it usually is being used at the beginning or at the end of a sentence. So ya means now or already. Alright, then the next phrase is yo tampoco, which means me neither.
Yo tampoco. Yo tampoco.
And actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if we have included me too instead of me neither. So let me include that one as well. So we add one more phrase to today's lesson. So me too is yo también.
Yo también. Yo también.
So me neither, yo tampoco, and me too is yo también, or me also, yo también. Alright, and then the last word of today's lesson, which is
Próximo. Próximo. Próxima. Próxima.
which means next or upcoming. So for example, when you're in a metro, you might hear
La próxima parada. La próxima parada.
which means the next or upcoming stop. Parada is stop, and we say próxima because parada is a feminine word, so we use the A as an ending, so next or upcoming stop. Próxima parada. Or sometimes, and I know that I'm trying to sneak in one more word for you to learn, but sometimes you might also hear siguiente, siguiente, which also means next or following. Again, it depends on the country or region that you're in.
Siguiente. Siguiente.
Alright, and that's really it for all of the different words and phrases that we will learn in today's fundamentals lesson. I hope that you learned some new words and phrases that are helpful to you to add to your vocabulary. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can always go to my website, SpanishWithWes.com, where you can find my contact info. And as always, you can also download the reference sheet as a PDF file so that you have all of the words and sentences of today's lesson bundled down into a single PDF file. Alright, that's it for this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I hope to see you in the next one. Adios.